Wait, where did I put my lucky rabbit's foot?
My name is Prudence. You can call me Prue. I run a company called Prudent Readings where I do tarot card and astrology readings. And this is my partner.
I'm Mason.
We've been meaning to start like some kind of podcast just to keep up with everything going on, especially now that we're up north in Ottawa. We're taking a trip up to see some psychic fairs and get some social media stuff done and really just like focus in on what we want to be doing in the future and what we're doing now.
Just getting it started, all the social media and everything.
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth trying to get social media started when you don't have any followers, but...
We got our first video up.
Yeah.
That was very fun to edit and just do in general.
We started recording this and immediately blew a fuse in the Airbnb.
It happens.
It is what it is here. It's like pretty cute. It's pretty nice. There's like a few broken things and odds and ends that are like... But that's fine. We're gonna make it work. It's not that much different than home for us because we've always lived in really, really simple apartments, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a couple days. We've gotten comfortable with everything.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
We have ramen here, and we were gonna make ramen and talk shit, really, but we had a hot pot, and the hot pot is really what blew the fuse, and so now we're not really sure if we should run the hot pot in case we blow the fuse again.
I could run it over there.
Maybe we'll see. We're gonna talk real quick, and maybe we'll just, like, have a casual ramen and chat.
Yeah.
And at first, we were meaning to talk about the planning of the trip.
Yeah, what happened and why we decided not to do an RV trip up, which I think was the smartest decision we've made.
Yeah, we went to see like
thing.
one RV in case we wanted to get an RV and do travel like pretty regularly, and immediately we were like, wow, RV people, God bless you.
Well,
it couldn't be me.
Not immediately, because we went and viewed one.
Yeah, we went to view one, and it was cute, but
it was really good. I mean, but obviously because we were going to do winter travel, we had to worry about window seals and insulation and whether or not
generator
and the engine could handle it. And the engine ran good. There was no heating. Not that the heating was wrong or the heating was bad. It was the seals we were worried about because they were like falling off.
It would have leaked all of the heat, really.
Yeah, and
camps were also expensive.
And with the RV we visited, it backfired as soon as I turned it off.
And we were planning on bringing the car towed behind the RV so we could drive to these fairs from the parks. No, because it worked. The only ones we could find were like 30 feet, and then that's like...
That adds an extra 6 feet because my car is 6 feet long.
Yeah, that's a lot. That would be way too much to drive, especially now that we've done the drive.
Driving through a blizzard with an RV that was taller than... RVs are just tall, and that wind, we would have flipped.
You think? I mean, I think that in New Hampshire, when we were winding around the mountains, we would have run into a lot of issues.
Yeah. I mean, I was gripping the steering wheel because my car was just... going this way, going that way, and it just... I'm so glad we didn't do an RV.
Well, you're a really good driver, so like in the passenger side, I really didn't notice any of that.
You could feel it in the steering wheel.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I looked over, I could see you bracing, but for the most part, the car felt like it was going straight ahead. With an RV, it would not.
No, you would have felt it.
The tires, we already were losing traction on the car, and I don't think we would have been able to replace all the tires on an RV anyway.
No, and we saved a lot of money. That RV we were looking at was $5,000.
Yeah.
Would have been all of our funding.
Yeah, we would have no money for like food and hanging out and getting things done.
Yeah. We wouldn't have been able to buy this delicious ramen.
This delicious ramen with no preservatives, really.
Oh my god.
The ingredient lists up here.
Yeah, literally.
Y'all, you're eating real food, I'll tell you that. Not that we aren't eating real food down in the US, but
yeah, I mean, we're good.
Oh, nice. I thought that it shut itself off.
No. Yeah, the only thing in here that I can't really read, I mean, there's maltodextrin,
and the French.
And
well, I can read boof.
Don't come for me. There's guar gum, but everything else is so nice. There's
like, probably just comes from a
dysodium.
tree.
Okay, I'm
So
done.
some of these
I'm
ingredients
done.
are still pretty rough, but
not nearly as much as we would have found in America.
I think mine is just the same company that I would have found in America because I've had that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's really cute up here. It's really
so cute.
It's really different, but it's also kind of the same.
Everybody's so kind.
Everyone's adorable. Everyone is so adorable. I mean, even the only person we've met so far who was like pretty distant was a barista, and I think like a barista at a nice coffee shop is always gonna kind of be deadpan. That's like the classic.
It comes from working in a coffee shop. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you're working retail, your heart starts to not be in it anymore. To reach over here and grab these. And so we're gonna talk real quick about like what we're doing while we're here. And so for me, there's like some social media stuff that I want to get done. I have like a series of digital paintings that are tarot card self-portraits that I want to do. I'm looking at like tutorial videos. I'm trying to get into Instagram live tarot readings. If you're interested in that, you can sign up on my website and we'll go live right on Instagram. I'll invite you to it. And then we can just go into it. I should be doing one. I think I'm doing one today, but we'll see time-wise what we run into.
Yeah. Just keep in contact with that person and yeah.
Hopefully. And
Hopefully
if
it works.
If it is up, it should be pretty fun to watch. I'm gonna do a reading, I think, as like a segment in this podcast, but it'll be a little bit later. And I'm gonna flip the camera. So this is kind of our itinerary. There's like little stuff we want to do in between. We found a really cool arcade we want to go to.
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
I know Mason's like really looking forward to a couple bars near here, but that's like, I'm trying to keep everything as cheap as possible. So we'll see if we make it that way. So the first one we're gonna go to is in Cambridge. And all of these are in Ontario. They're pretty close to us, but we're definitely gonna have to drive up. I don't know that we're gonna go to every single day. Each one is 3 days. I think we might go to the first day, get as much content as we need. And from there, if we need more, if we run into interesting people, we'll probably go back. The second one we're doing is in Hamilton. And all of these seem to be kind of run by the same people.
Yeah, it's run by the same company. All the same price for admission, which I'm pretty sure we can just do when we get there.
Yeah,
I have to look into that.
Honestly, we might want to get our passes ahead of time. I don't think they're gonna fill up or anything. I know that I was seeing on YouTube that there's like a renaissance of readings in Canada, and so meeting these people is gonna be really fun. I know an odd one, but tea leaf reading seems to be really popular up here.
What's that?
Oh, that's where you literally like make tea, swirl it around. Some people dump it, but I think you're supposed to drink it. You pop it on a plate, you rotate it 3 times, tap it on top, and then whatever shapes are inside of it.
Inside like the
cup.
liquid in the cup?
Yeah, and so it's loose leaf tea. And so it'll leave little shapes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have,
So like grinds in a cup of coffee.
yeah, I have a little book for it if you want to look through it later.
Right.
Yeah, I know that in Turkey they do coffee, yes. Coffee grounds are a good one because they're like little bits and they stick to each other. You know, certain teas you really can't do. I like to do, I think what I like to do is, it's not chai. Oolong, I have it at home. I would have to look at what I have, but it's little black leaves that stick together. And then the last one we're gonna do is in, and I'm pretty sure I'm saying this wrong, but we're gonna learn, Mississauga. And so between all of these, I think I kind of want to get a couple readings and I want to meet people so that while we're doing this podcast, we can like FaceTime and record and like interview people up here who do this professionally, because I think this is one of the most interesting professions and you never meet 2 people who do it and do it the same way.
Yeah. Like we'll chat with people off camera, see if they're interested in doing an interview, and we'll interview them, get at least a couple minutes of footage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clip it up if we need to.
Hopefully they speak English because our French is not up to par.
I mean, they're around here. It seems like
I haven't heard
things
any
like
French in
this,
Ottawa.
where English has been like on top, and then there's French for people who speak French, but majority of people speak English here.
Well, and so when we first got into like the no man's land of the border, all French, all French. As we got to Ottawa, I haven't heard French here.
As soon as we crossed into Ontario, it was English.
Everything seems to be bienvenue, that kind of thing, but then underneath it's all English. So I'm definitely not running into a language barrier, which I was afraid we were going to when we first crossed. When we first crossed, we had to like ask one of the service people at the A&W place if anyone spoke English, and someone did. Someone came right up and spoke English, but the woman we saw at first literally looked worried. She was like, I can't do that.
I don't do English.
It was really cute. But also, we barely even speak. We should be able to say, je parle anglais, but it was not what we did. We just walked up and said, anglais?
I just went English?
I didn't even know. I was just pretty much watching. Also, I've just been in my own little world. It's also new and cute. I've never left the country.
It's also very foreign to us, because neither of us have left the country before.
I barely left the state. I mean, I guess of like 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow. Not counting like family trips to parties that only last a day.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone and dropped my family off to like college or something out of state, or just for a weekend trip. I went with my mom to Virginia for Busch Gardens for a week.
And so, for a week, that's a decent. I missed you so much, Jenna. So far we've taken trips like overnight or for a couple days, and it feels like a waste, really. To me, we get there and we're already going home. When we went to Syracuse, it was a 6-hour drive, and both days it was pretty much all of us driving. Yeah. We only spent one night. Granted, we looked at a lot of houses. We were right in the middle of trying to figure out like if we could get a house. Syracuse houses were the best priced. Maine absolutely was not.
No, never gonna happen. But yeah, that was mainly just a work trip. If we think about it, like, yeah, we did have like a night to ourselves, but as soon as we got up the next morning, we were out the door, talking with a realtor,
as soon as
viewing houses, and after that we left.
As soon as you got there too, we checked into the hotel and you immediately went to, Mason's a postal worker, went to the postal plant in New York to see like what the situation would be. The transfer never went through, which is pretty annoying, but at the same time, it's not really in your control when you want to transfer places for work.
God, no. You just have to wait for them.
I would have loved being in Syracuse, and I think we might still end up there, but for sure I'm glad that we're taking like a minute to travel and get used to kind of, I don't know, it's not getting used to each other because we've lived together for like 6 or 7 months now.
It's
getting
out of our comfort zone, really.
We've been together for like 2 years.
We've lived together since December of last year, so yeah, about a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I moved home from that apartment, lived with them until June, so 6 months.
Okay, good, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But we saw each other every day and every night.
That's the thing,
I'd get out of work, go home to my mom's, get dinner, and then go straight to yours every night.
I know, which makes it feel like you were living with me way longer than you were. But anyway, we're getting used to like spending a lot of time together. We're getting into a groove of like work. I think this is more the work that, at least for me, that I would like to do. And I don't want to speak for you, but I know that I've had a lot of fun. I've like felt very fulfilled doing readings. And if I can push that further into social media, get that virtually going, I would be really happy. We're both trans, and just like trying to find employment and respect as trans people in America it's killing us, really.
I mean, yeah. Being a trans man and being comfortable in the job I was in, I had no problem with what you did.
Yeah,
finding a job for you was never gonna happen. Like, realistically, because
it's been
discrimination.
It's been hell. I mean, getting callbacks is tough. Staying places is tough. I've had 2 serving jobs that I was doing great at, and I've had managers say that guest comfortability was the issue because people didn't want a trans person serving them. I got passed over for a promotion at my last job. Everyone wasn't the best to me. I had to literally I had to go to the head manager and be like, you can't fix this problem for me, and I don't want to cause drama in the workplace. So this isn't a workplace for me. And I'm really fortunate. By then I was already doing tarot card parties at the ceramic shop, making a decent amount. And then from there I got my residency at Ruby Manor. And so I've been reading for over a year now.
Yeah.
I want to say full time, but I haven't been doing like 60 hours a week. I would love to. I would love to do 60 readings a week. But that's up to you guys.
That's the audience.
And so we'll do a reading segment on this for the most part. We thought that we would be on for a really long time, but so far we've covered pretty much a lot of what we wanted to talk about in 15 minutes.
Yeah. A lot of what we wanted to talk about. And now it's just that. It's just ramen and shit talking.
Which sounds nice.
It does sound nice. We can talk about the 3 days we've been here already, which we've done, but we can go further into it.
Yeah, for sure.
The coffee shop.
We found a coffee shop that we really love.
Happy Goat.
We're like still really shy, so they forgot our bagel today, and Mason was like, I don't want to be rude, but I have to remind them I ordered a bagel.
Yeah, and they apologized profusely, which I thought was really, really cute, but they did not have to do. Mm-hmm. People forget. It happens.
Oh my
Human
God.
nature.
Yeah, and that place is busy every single time. It's like hard to find a place to sit.
Yeah. We have to sit like awkwardly next to somebody,
But again, people are so polite that they don't even really look at you when you try to sit down close to them.
Yeah, like I was looking around the coffee shop today and I felt rude looking around.
I did the same thing.
Nobody was looking around.
Everyone was just minding their business, doing their cute thing.
Yeah.
I was eavesdropping last night at the Thai restaurant, and it was really cute. They were. Did you catch this? They were. They like said that we looked like the couple from Bewitched, I think.
Really?
Yeah. They said that you looked like the cuter of the Darrens, but they were talking through, and I was like, you know what? If you want to compare me to Elizabeth Montgomery, I think you might be wrong, but I'll take it.
They might have sensed something though.
I know,
like
it's
they
really
knew
funny.
you were a witch.
Well, Bewitched is one of my favorite shows. It's basically what inspired the video game I'm working on.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yes,
It was
Sienna.
really cute. It was really cute.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
gonna
we're
grab that hot box. I want ramen.
Yeah, I think we're gonna take a break. We're gonna boil some water, make some ramen, and talk shit. And then in between, I am going to do a quick reading for you guys. All right, okay. So for this part, Mason's off making the ramen, and I am going to do a reading for you guys. Typically, I use these. They're like gilded. They're really beautiful. But when I do online readings or like virtual readings, what I like to do is use the Biddy Tarot because they're extremely simplified cards. It's almost like, I don't want to say they're clip art, but like, it's just very legible for you guys. And so typically I would ask if you've ever had a tarot card reading. It's so funny to be doing this because usually I'm one-on-one. And I'm not quite sure what we're reading for. I think that we kind of have to have a minute where we clarify that, right? So for the most part of tarot is asking good questions. And that takes thinking not just in yes or no terms, but in a broader sense, right? So for the reading today, we're gonna do kind of more general. And sorry, Mason's making ramen, so if you hear that, that's what that is.
Sorry, I'm trying not to make too much noise.
Do not worry. Okay, I'm gonna flip you guys around at the table. What we're gonna be doing a reading for is 2025 in general, not just like, and I don't want to say that this is going to be individualized towards you as a listener or a viewer, but I will say this is in general 2025. I kind of want to hone it down to America just because I think post-election we're dealing with a lot of drama, a lot of bullshit, a lot of things that we don't want to be dealing with. And we all know that 2025 to 2028 is going to be I mean, 2029, I guess, is going to be a lot of energy for us and a lot of time and a lot of adjustment. And for that reason, I think maybe it's time we look into what we should be keeping an eye on as we step into this next year. So, and I'm not going to be throwing little cards around. No offense to people who just throw and drop cards and pretend it's an accident. I don't like that. We're going to be doing this very straightforward. I was watching someone the other day who just kept like accidentally tossing them and was like, I guess we have to look at them if we drop them. And it's like, keep the cards in your hand. If they fall, but you are not going to be throwing them around. I like to say that I'm a no-nonsense reader, and I don't mean to be rude, but I am no-nonsense. We do not need to be making things up or doing performances. It's just not worth it, and it's not productive. It's definitely counterproductive. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to lay out a Celtic cross, and we're going to look at what we'll be dealing with specifically as Americans in 2025. What covers us, what crosses us, what crowns us, what's beneath us, what's before us, what's behind us. I'm going to pop this over and move these. The Celtic cross takes a lot of room, especially with larger cards. So this is us ourselves. This is our work and home life. This is our hopes and fears. And this is our future. So this isn't an unfortunate spread, but this is a difficult spread to go through. What we're going to look at first is the Chariot reversed. And so if we're looking at this as 2025 in America, what we're dealing with is kind of a lack of drive, a lack of moving forward, potentially even moving forward in the wrong direction. And where that is crossed by the world. I look at the world in this situation, not the world specifically, but any card that is in the challenge position, I look at it as upright and reverse. And so what we're looking at with the challenge of moving forward is a completion of a cycle and moving into something new, like a rebirth. And that's what the world card is all about. Stepping into something new. And so what we're dealing with here is we're stepping into something new, absolutely, but instead of it being positive, it's a challenge. And that might have to do with who we're becoming as a nation, which, frankly, I don't think is that surprising of a card to come up. What crowns us, which I look at as the subconscious manifestation of what's happening, is the Magician. And with that, we're dealing with mastery over what we have. And so subconsciously as a nation, we do feel in control. We do feel like we understand things, specifically kind of as far as our tools, right? Our trades. It's a solid card to have there, but it is also, again, in the crowning position, which I think of as subconscious. And in that case, we might think that we have more mastery than we have over things. I think this card in this position I'm looking at as assuredness, whether that assuredness is correct or not, because what I look at is this crowned position informing what's beneath us. So if this is the subconscious, I look at this as the conscious on the bottom. If you're just listening, I'm so sorry. I can go through everything and just give you an idea, but I'm going to keep going the way I'm going right now until I'm done. The conscious manifestation of that assuredness is the King of Cups, but the King of Cups is reversed. With Cups, we're dealing with emotions. With the King of Cups, we're dealing with authority and emotion. And so unfortunately, where this is upside down, that feeling of assuredness and mastery is leading us day to day to live in kind of a cruel way, I'm going to say. I mean, in a draining way. We're draining each other. We're using our authority to overbear people, which if you look at some of my astrology weather videos, you'll see the outer planets have really been pushing this same message of things moving into a revolutionary state, but that revolutionary state really being led by vague communication and problematic leadership. What came before us is a feeling of loss. It's a feeling of loss that, and this is interesting, I believe Fox News literally drew this card for Donald Trump when they had a tarot card reader on. And this is what came before us, which is focusing on the losses, focusing on the negative, focusing on us being drained, and not acknowledging that there's something coming or that there's an ability to focus on a refreshing, refilling moment, kind of like a divine push forward. And so that is a tough place to come from. And I look at where we came from as informing where we're going. And in here we have the 10 of Cups reversed, which is not a great sign. If this is what came before, this is what's coming next, but circumstantially. It's not our future, it is the circumstances we will be facing, and it is a loss. It is a card that is all about, upright, this card is about those who've passed on, passing on love down the generations. That love is coming kind of from a divine place to this generation who's able to pass it to this, and there's a lot of happiness here. Unfortunately, when it's upside down, we're not receiving that love. We're not receiving that fulfillment. We most likely are having troubles in our relationships and with each other as a collective, and that is going to affect the children of our nation. You know what I mean? It's going to affect the younger generations that this love isn't flowing into them, which is not an ideal situation to be in. Sorry, I hit the camera. Especially when we're focused on loss to a degree that's detrimental to the younger generations. That's a very concerning moment. Us in ourselves. This is, again, in the common theme. It's the Ace of Cups reversed, and what we need to acknowledge is that emotionally we are shutting each other out. We're becoming cold and cruel. That's how we're perceived by others. It's how we perceive ourselves. It's becoming who we are. And whether that comes from the focus of loss or the knowledge that we're going to be, the innate knowledge that we're leading towards a less fulfilling society, it is being reflected. And that reflection is going to cause a lot of issues to us emotionally and those that we affect. At work and at home, we're dealing with the Fool, and I think that I want to look at the work and home position in this kind of American reading as the economic situation and also where we're moving into in a domestic place, right? Like home. And it is the Fool. What we have is a party and an ideology of moving forward without understanding the consequences of these actions. When we're looking at like mass deportations and tariffs and things like that, they will have long-term effects, and moving into it without thinking about it is that naivete of the Fool, where we're leading ourselves right off of the cliff. Our hopes and our fears. I think this card also is a very poignant card for this position. I call this the card of staying strapped, right? Staying prepared, keeping your weapon to your side even when you're sleeping, and having things organized above. This is a card I've been drawing a lot in response to this trip, where for the most part, we're able to lay low and keep things kind of categorized, organized, grounded, and feel safe, even if there's dangers or threats around. And so the hopes and the fears of the American people are literally going to be being prepared in case of issues. Specifically, swords are always our convictions, specifically intellectually, people's thoughts and feelings, kind of. Because the thoughts and feelings of others right now are really directly influencing the thoughts and feelings of ourselves as a collective. And that collective energy, again, if we don't make it positive, it's going to cause us to drain other people, and that drain is going to have a long-term effect. Whether we think that that draining is coming from a place of authority and understanding and mastery, it isn't reflecting that way in a conscious way. It's reflecting as cruelty. and the future of this situation, if the challenge is moving through into a new chapter, what the warning for the future is the death card reverse. Death doesn't need to be death. It doesn't need to be an omen, anything like that. What we look at with death is the closure of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. And where it's reversed, we're dealing with a problematic cycle beginning in the future. The future position is really, it's really a determinable one, or we have control over it. I look at the future position as if we stay on this path, right? And what I usually do now for people inside of a reading would be to start tapping them. Our first problem arises over here with where we've been and our attitude towards where we've been. Were we to unblock this energy, we'd be able to focus on the good coming and put behind us those losses. This would help us in our day-to-day life. This is a tap. This would help us in our day-to-day life be kinder to others. Even if we're feeling that mastery over our feelings and thoughts and authority, we need to be bringing love and compassion in. With that love and compassion coming in, because we stop focusing on our losses, we move towards seeing the next generation feel more fulfilled, because the generations that came before us are going to be. And I don't know where you are spiritually, how you feel about those who've passed, but we need the support of those who've, the spiritual realm, right? We need the support of the spiritual realm, and we're not going to get that support if we're not supporting others. And so with that, stopping the focusing on loss and draining others, we'll be able to fulfill each other as a consciousness, as a collective, and we'll all kind of be able to move and be perceived as emotionally fulfilling. Now that's really important, especially for these next generations. With this card, I cannot tap it. All I can tell you is that we are moving forward naively in the economy and domestically, and that is something that we should work on. This next one, make sure to stay strapped. It is not upside down, but if all of these are tapped, including this, which with this new emotional fulfillment in our direction will cause us to be able to move forward more productively and cause this ending of a cycle, stepping through a cycle, to be more of a positive experience, which I believe flips our death card into the future, changing where we're moving and putting us in a new chapter, at least an ending of a chapter. And clearly the chapter we are in, according to this spread at least, is a chapter of not appreciating things, being cruel, draining people to the detriment of the collective and the next generations, and feeling drained because of that, unable to move forward with good plans, fearing that we are in danger, and assured that this all is okay, when subconsciously we should not be. If you asked me, with everything else reversed in here, the magician should have been reversed. We do not have mastery over things. We do not understand how to use our authority. This is the learning experience. So that, the phone died in the end of that reading. I think what I was going to end up saying was, basically, don't be so sure of yourself that everything's wrong and everything is drained. Otherwise, you're going to drain other people, and we're all going to feel drained, and we're all going to be scared, and the future will not go the way, at least not positively. Because the phone died, we already made our ramen, and so we don't really have, I have a little bit left, but I think we're going to skip trying to have like a chill snack and vent session.
Yeah.
And we're going to call this good. I think we got about...
With the tarot segment and the beginning was about 25 minutes long, and the tarot segment was about 13, so we should have about 38 minutes, including
Nice.
this, about 40.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to keep it under an hour. I don't think people have the time to listen to a lot, unless they listen at work, but, yeah. I do feel bad that died before I could really and just knock out what things are for people who are listening. Basically just know with a Celtic cross, it is across, up, and down with a double card in the middle and then a bar on the side. And what we deal with is kind of the internal versus external and how they affect each other. Hopefully, as things go on, formatting wise, I'll understand a little bit more the correct angles to get the camera in, and
We're working with what we have.
not let the phone die.
Yeah. I don't think starting a podcast and video at 29% on my phone was a good idea. My phone is quite hot at the moment. Sitting over there charging. I'm gonna give it a break for a bit.
Yeah, so we're finishing this on my phone. That's why it's a different angle. It's clipped on from where I did the tarot card reading.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. We're gonna do another one. I'm not sure if this will be like weekly. It's definitely not gonna be daily because that much doesn't really happen even on a trip.
Yeah, we're getting into it. We'll figure out a steady schedule and pacing as we go along.
And feel free to leave a comment. Let us know if we paced anything awkwardly or if there's a better way to do it. Now my phone's dying, so we actually really do have to stop.
We have to go. But thank you for listening.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun hanging out and doing things.
It was actually really fun.
I've never done a tarot card reading just like for the general public before, and I have a hard time mentally doing it, but that came out a lot better than I thought, and it made a lot of sense for me, at least, from what I'm observing.
Yeah, it was a good conversation at the beginning. Great tarot spread.
Well, if you think about it, 2025 came in for America with 2 terrorist attacks and just a lot of negativity all around towards everyone. So
Yeah, a lot of anger.
it's not, yes, and feeling drained emotionally and energetically. So it was a reading that I felt really confident in. I feel confident in the advice I gave. So I'm probably gonna do those just about every time. We'll do different questions. We'll look at different things, but
Well, have a tarot segment every podcast if we want.
sounds good to me. Maybe I'll even work in some astrology forecasts and give you guys a really good look at what's happening. Our
We'll lengthen
spotlight
the podcast time too. So if anybody wants that, a longer podcast, then yeah, we'll do that.
And if you want to come on as a guest, let us know. I think the tarot card readings on guest episodes are going to be for the guests. So if you want a reading from me and you're okay with talking for 45 minutes to us, then let us know. We're
That's
really
exciting, yeah.
we're really into this idea. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. Not everything works in life, but I think we're ready to take a shot on it. And I hope you
it
guys, I hope you guys take a shot on us too. So thanks
Okay.
for listening or watching.
Thank you.
This has been the Lucky Rabbits podcast. We'll see if we keep that name or what happens, but
I like it.
I like it, definitely.
Thank you for listening.
Have a good day.
Peace.
Love you.
Wait, where did I put my lucky rabbit's foot?